The Melbourne Cup, the race that has inspired a nation since its inception. Fostered on tradition and hope. At 3 p.m. on the first Tuesday in November, time stands still. "24 contenders from around the world, months and years of meticulous preparation, defined in just over 3 minutes. A mixture of speed, endurance and courage. The ultimate test of stamina. A race that defines character in human and horse."
But Damien Oliver riding with the spirit of Jason. It's history at Flemington for Self-Payne.
In 2018, a new chapter of Cup folklore will be written, and they've come from far and wide.
In front in the E-Ball. Miss Solution won it. And Magic Circle doubles up from Leopardstown to Caulfield. This is going to trot here.
It's no longer the race that stops the nation. It's the race that stops the world.
And a race which has been the childhood dream of that man, Craig Williams, who missed out on the ride on Dunedin all those years ago, is on Young Star, the Australian hope for Chris Waller today. And it is damp at Flemington, but it would not dampen the spirits of the 100,000 fans and the millions of viewers worldwide for this great race. The race that stops the nation. Hello and welcome to Flemington. It is the 158th anniversary, or the 158th edition of the Melbourne Cup. David Gately is with me, and regardless of the conditions, Gator, it's a great occasion.
Yeah, that's right. We've seen many a wet cup in the past, haven't we, David? And look, it doesn't detract from the spectacle. It might add something to it, and there'll be a story told either way.
What about the babies in race one? 10 events on the Cup card, but the Bumble Stakes, we've seen Champagne Boom win so well on debut, but does it go deeper than that? In these conditions, how do you think it affects the younger horses?
Well, there's a lot of unknowns, clearly, with that. A couple of them have jumped out on affected ground. One of them has raced on soft ground, but outside of that, it's a bit of guesswork involved, because a lot of them just haven't seen it.
OK, well, Drinkwise are proudly supporting Melbourne Cup Day, and they're keeping the patrons intact on the biggest days racing on the Australian calendar. And now here's Shane and Peter with the inside word.
Well, Peter, as we have a look at this race, the Group 3 contest for the 2-year-olds, it's actually the 100th running of the race registers the Ottawa Stakes. It's an important race for these 2-year-old fillies to get a bit of black type next to the name early in their career.
Oh, massive for sure for these fillies, and very trying conditions. Experience is going to play a big part here for these little girls, and obviously Champagne Boom's been there and got the job done, has race experience. Exposure to the straight, you would think the two, Hayes Dabenig and the McAvoy horse, Sister, the sister to the mighty Sunlight, who won the Coolmore on Saturday, would have had some form of exposure to the Flemington Straight, so that's probably another advantage. But really flying into the unknown with a lot of these young horses here. You know, seeing believing, Champagne Boom looked good and ran sectionals to do it. Just a little interest in the other one, D. Oliver. Not often he teams up with the Hayes stable these days. I'd keep an eye on the 9 Lincoln Star. Maybe he's a little bit roughy, and obviously Sister creates great interest for us.
If you had a jump and run 2-year-old with this type of weather pattern that we've got here at Flemington today, what type of advice would you be giving your jockey?
Oh, listen, it's a bounce, squeeze and travel. Try and keep them in their comfort zone. Try and hold them together mentally. So, you know, just what copes with the conditions. And like you said, it's very important for these fillies to get black type, but unfortunately sometimes maybe not the best horse copes with the conditions first time out either.
All right. In Boom is horse number 1, Lindsay Park, Craig Williams, a Spirit of Boom filly who was a dominant winner of the Debutante Stakes, and Gator a $90,000 Gold Coast Magic Millions buy.
Yeah, well, she looked smart on debut, Dave. She darted away late. Second and third horses ran second and fifth at Moonee Valley Saturday behind another smart one from the Waterhouse Spot team. And she's proven up the straight in that she jumped out really well up the straight before her debut.
Jane, a change from Caulfield?
She's displaying the same types of behaviour that we saw from her at Caulfield. She's a little bit go-y. She certainly gets on the bit and is quite forward in her movement. So I would say that her parade today is very similar to her parade at Caulfield. She's probably just a little bit more forward in the coat.
Horse number 2 is Magna City, Robbie Griffiths, Jai McNeil, drawn out and beaten convincingly on debut.
Yeah, she was in the betting though to some extent, off some nice jump out and trial form. Now she was wide on a strong speed there, so I'm inclined to forgive the run. And I think ridden differently, she can get a lot closer to Champagne Boom. She's got to make up 7.5 lengths.
She's a really good size filly, and she's another one that's come on in her coat since her debut. I thought she looked a little bit light first up. She was very forward, but I'm actually impressed with the way that she's done in between races.
Okay, horse number 3, Song Brocade, John Sadler, Noel Callow. Inside Gate, a filly by Zoffany.
Yeah, she was around 30 to 1 on debut. She had shown something at the jump outs prior to that. She wasn't flash away, a bit tardy. Found the line okay. I thought sectionals were quite sound. She'll be better for that. Gate 1, she'll have the rail. I think she's entitled to be around 25 to 1 though.
We move on to number 4, Calm Your Farm, Graham Begg, Clayton Douglas, low gate, close up in a Bendigo maiden. How far do you think she has to improve here?
Look, I'm concerned about the blanket finish nature of that race, Dave. It was a small field and they all crossed the line together. The advantage was the soft ground. She seemed to get through it well, so she's got that over many of her rivals who haven't seen it.
And a career, number 5, Daniel Williams, Jake Noonan, drawn out. A Turfontaine filly out of a US mare who won over the mile.
Look, I couldn't tip her to you off her first jump out. Her second one was a lot better, but the market isn't respecting her at this stage. She's big odds.
And what about Bella Ross at number 6? Kieran Mark, Dave Eustace, Mark Zara. Expensive yielding, $575,000 Gold Coast buy, and a trial winner at Cranbourne.
And damn a smart listed winner. I liked the trial. She led, she won, she ran okay time. She was ridden along late in the heat, but she looks a natural runner, and if she can handle the ground, she's in the game for sure.
I'd certainly give her a push on the way she's paraded today. She's a nice balanced filly. She's well muscled. She looks forward enough to be competitive, and she moves really nicely. She's got a lot of purpose about her movement.
Number 7, Dreamtime Lady, Robert Hickmont, Brett Preble by Australian Guineas winner, won Gina out of a Carnegie mare, half-sister to a 2-year-old winner. With that breeding, you reckon she'd love these conditions?
Yeah, that's right. And look, she's jumped out well on more than one occasion. I like the way she quickened in her latest heat. I think 20 to 1's over the odds. She's my 4th pick, Dave.
First Dawn, David and Coral Feet, Ben Thompson, first crop of a Coolmore winner, Brazen Bow, half-sister to a Group 1 winning a 2-year-old, Rude Awakening.
Yeah, that's right. She led and won. A Mornington jump out, and so I thought she was quite good. The Sandown heat was another sound effort. She found the line quite well. There's obvious ability there.
Number 9, Lankan Star, Lindsay Park, Damien Oliver. Nakoni filly, first to race from a 3-time sprint winner, Clearwater Babe.
Had a couple of jump outs. She missed the kick in one of those and finished off quite well in her later. She covered a lot of ground and stuck on okay. Again, I think there's ability there and the market's respecting her.
Yeah, and she looks like she's done the preparatory work to be forward enough for this race. I like her attitude too. She's one of the most relaxed 2-year-olds in this field. She's just dropped her head since she wandered into the yard, and she's been quite content despite this weather.
Horse number 10 is Leal, Michael Kent, Bone Mertens, a Moshe half-sister to a Maribyrnong place getter.
Well, she trialled with Sister. Now, Sister beat her convincingly. Trials aren't everything, but she'd have to be behind her off what we saw there.
Sister is number 11, a full sister to Sunlight, the Cornwall Wigger winner, a $600,000 Magic Millions buy.
I liked both of her trials. She won them with her ears pricked. She wasn't asked for much of an effort in either of them. She's been heavily backed and very hard to beat, I would imagine.
She's a little bit smaller than her full sister, Sunlight, but she's actually really woken up since she's come into the yard. I saw her out the back and she was nice and quiet, and she's really woken up since she's come into the mounting yard. I can't fault her though, she's in good shape.
That's a good push from Jane Ivell. And Gaty, your tips for the first?
Oh, look, I'm with Champagne Boom. I thought the debut win was exceptional. There are some clear unknowns. It's such a short price, aren't there? I mean, it hasn't seen wet ground. And, look, the race didn't rate through the roof, but the form's been okay out of it. Sistar's trials have been good. I think Magnus City can improve sharply at odds. And Dreamtime Lady was a couple of sneaky good trials at 20 to 1. So maybe a couple of roughies there for you.
So the top weight for Gator, and Brent and Matt are with Gator on the first race. Sistar's the selection by Shane. Ben has a Dreamtime Lady as the race 1 selection. The McCafe pick of the yard in the first, Jane.
I'm going with the 6 on top here in Bella Rosa. I feel like this filly's doing everything you want to see from a horse on debut. She's moving well in the yard, stretching out nicely. She's a lovely balanced horse, well muscled, and looks forward enough to be competitive here. Magnus City is the horse that I think can really improve off of her debut, given her parade today. I think she's done really well in between races, and Lankan Star brings the best attitude to the races for a 2-year-old. She was lovely and relaxed.
So Bet365 market update as we have a track downgrade to a soft 6 for the first race. at Flemington on Cup Day, and Champagne Boom, the Lindsay Park filly, is very hard in the market.
Flemington before the first race. David Hayes is with me. David, it's certainly not ideal, particularly for the 2-year-olds.
No, it's sort of, it'll get more testing as the day goes on.
Impressively on debut at Caulfield, coming from well off the speed.
Yeah, she did, and she's had a look up the straight in a trial. She missed the start that day, but she was very good late, and she looks like she's trained on, and this breed are very good 2-year-olds.
From the sort of tactics perspective here, with the downgrade of the track conditions, what would you be hoping to do? Back off the speed again?
Oh, look, I'll just leave that to Craig. I reckon she'll settle midfield, and as long as he gives her clear galloping room, she should be all right.
Your other runner is Lincoln Star on debut. What can we expect there?
She trialled once very well at Flemington, and then the next time she got caught a bit wide. She's an Oconee, and they generally like to straight. She's well above average talent. Worth putting in, I'd say, as an each way.
As we look through the day, of course, you've got Ventura Storm, the last start record-breaking Moonee Valley Cup winner in the Melbourne Cup. Are you happy with the way that he's progressed from that run?
Well, he's thrived, and he's ticked all our boxes. We didn't really have to peak him because he was qualified, and he's hit form at the right time. He's got form on rain-affected ground, but I would have loved it firm because I think it would have checkmated a few of his opposition. And
your overall remaining runners throughout the day, as the rain continues to melt down here, you do look to have some really good prospects throughout the whole card. Who's sort of exciting you the most?
I really like Sin to win. He's got good wet track form. And Murakib, I think, coming back from a Group 1 class, down in class, should run well, but he's unknown on the ground.
David, good luck today. Appreciate your time. Hopefully we're talking to you after the races on a few occasions.
Thank you.
There's David Hayes. David, I'll throw it back to you for the moment, and we'll try and get another interview and work out how long, if we're going to have a delay here for the first race.
Thanks, Shane. We've got Craig Williams on the Spirit of Boom filly, Champagne Boom on-screen gator. Obviously, it's a new experience for these babies under such pressureful race conditions.
Yeah, that's right. So there's clearly some unknowns for punters. I think what happens a lot with young horses is they haven't really learnt, how to not handle it. So I don't think it's disastrous. A lot of them in the same boat, pardon the pun. Look, Champagne Boom probably deserves to be favoured on what we've seen, but there are some unknowns, and it's sort of up to you at that sort of quote, isn't it? Pretty skinny, 280.
Absolutely. Well, there's a big watch on Sunlight. So full sister in the opening race. Shane, you're with Tony McAvoy.
Yeah, Tony, great to catch up. As the rain buckets down here at Flemington, is this putting you off Sistar's prospects going into the first race, the fact that we've had a downgrade?
Oh, no, I don't think so, Shane. It's a bit unknown, isn't it? But look, she's a very fast filly. She's got great speed, and normally speed, top of the ground's better. But this will be okay at the moment, I think. And she's really well. She's handled herself beautifully here. She's excited, and she's ready to run well.
Does she remind you at all of her big sister Sunlight, who of course won a Magic Millions and came out and beat the boys in the Group 1 Coolmore Stud Stakes on Saturday?
She's got a lot of similarities. She's got a lot of fast twitch about her. She's an intelligent filly. I've only ever had to show her things once, and she picks it up. She's a little bit feisty, but and she's got speed. So I hope she's got the ability to go with it.
Where do you expect her in the run? Do you want her in front with that speed that you touch on, or is it a bit more of an education scenario here, having her first go?
Look, this family don't like to be held up. I've learned that through Sunlight. Solar Charge, their mother, was a free-running mare. So Luke's just going to flow, and whether we're leading or where we are, we don't know because there's so many unknowns. But it'll take a good one. It'll take a fast one to lead her.
With your runners throughout the day, who do you rate as your stronger chances?
Look, I've got a really good hand. I think Miss Siska dropping in class will be very hard to beat. Manuel, he'll run really well as well. You wouldn't want the ground to get too much damp for him. He's better on top of it. But, yeah, nice chances throughout the day.
And how well did Sunlight come through her run on Saturday, winning the Group 1?
Look, she was a little bit tired Sunday morning, Shane. She never left anything in the locker, did she? And but lovely and sound and well. And she gets on a float tomorrow and heads back to my farm, and she'll be in the paddock on Thursday afternoon.
Really appreciate your time, Tony. Hopefully we're talking to you throughout the day. Good luck.
Thanks, Shane. Thank you.
The thoughts there of Tony McAvoy's chance in the opening race. Sistar, and it is the Bet365 market mover. We can hardly see the horses through the mist of rain here, lashing down over Flemington. $3.50 Sistar, so the subject of a very, very solid support in the opening race, Gator.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think it's a massive shock. I think a lot of punters are gravitating to A, what they've seen off the trials, and B, a really positive interview from Tony McAvoy. So expecting her to run very well, and she'll be right up in the firing line too for a long way.
Yeah, it's a big day for everybody, in particular Matt Hill, who's calling 10 races, including the Cup today. Matt, looking forward to your call of all races on Cup Day.
Thank you, Dave. Lovely to be with you on a special day of racing, and maybe the weather gods weren't punters after all, hey? It's absolutely hacking down here at the moment now and about to be called forward. So let's get into it. Champagne Boom is the easing favourite, 235 out to 280, and well, you're in the right spot with our experts today across the platforms, because we have got a very complicated day to find a winner now with all of this rain. And I can tell you from the grandstand, as the rain, soaking rain, falls across Flemington. First Dawn goes in. The field just about right for the running of the first as Magnicity comes in. The Bumble Stakes for 2-year-old fillies. The lights flash and they're set. Ready to go. Melbourne Cup Day about to get underway. Set. Gates are back and racing, and Sistar towards the outside, jumped away cleanly. Calm Your Farm from barrier 2 out well in the red jacket. Liali's pushing forward as well, with also Bella Rosa, Dreamtime Lady, and Sistar out deeper on the track is pushing up as well as they complete the first 250. So it's Bella Rosa in the middle, Sistar the outside, Dreamtime Lady. Lankan Star is poised behind those horses. Liali the inside, Magnicity coming up the centre of the track from Champagne Boom. Further back in the field is First Dawn. Song Brocade is nearest towards the inside behind those, and out the back of the field is a Nikery. 400 metres to go. It's Lankan Star for Oliver taking the lead from Calm Your Farm. Then came down the outside Sistar, about to be called upon from Bella Rosa at the clock tower. Lankan Star in front with Sistar and also Bella Rosa between them from Calm Your Farm. Lankan Star just in front, Bella Rosa coming out after her and flashing home Champagne Boom. Bella Rosa, I think, from Lankan Star and Champagne Boom, then Sistar. Next, Calm Your Farm and First Dawn, and behind those horses, Magnicity, Song Brocade, Liali. Then came a Nikery, and at the end was Dreamtime Lady.
Is the way of the debutante, number 6, Bella Rosa, the daughter of Snitzel, out of the Thorn Park mare Swiss Rose. She cost $575,000 as a yearling, and she's done. And I think he's going to be the champion stallion again. Of course, Red Zell already winning the Everest at a big price. Courtesy of Luke Griff. Let's hear from the winning rider, Mark Zara.
Well, Mark Zara, well done. You've got the opener. Let's just get straight into the track, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, geez, it's wet. The surface water is, you know, it's quite substantial, and geez, they're going up the straight there. We couldn't see much. I was lucky I sort of had an uninterrupted run, but yeah, the weather is obviously very bad.
Tell us a little bit about her.
Look, the first time I've been on her, but I must say, Kieran and Dave, what a little professional, just jumped. I set off the speed and I actually came under pressure a fair way out, but I give one around the tail and she, you know, she was fit and ready to go. She knuckled right down all the way the line.
Okay, and now Ventura Storm. Is this weather going to help him or hinder him? I think he's got a bit of wet track form.
He does have wet track form. To be honest, I was hoping it'd be firm just to take a few of the others out, but you know, at least he's handled it and we'll get a nice run. So all we can do is.
What would you rate it anyway?
Geez. Look, I'd say it's close to an 8 right now, but it's probably more of a feel because of the surface water, but if it keeps running like this and they race, you think we'd be, you know, as bad as it gets for Cup.
All right, well done, and let's get out of the rain, eh?
An expensive horse, so as a young yearling, Kieran Ma, when you spend over $500,000, that is the perfect debut.
Yeah, she's a cheap horse now.
She certainly is beautifully bred, and now with a bit of prize money, you get into the really good races.
Yeah, they do a great job up there at Sedgeno Stud. Kevin Maloney and Peter O'Brien, they just keep churning them out, and the team and myself, we've found her at the sales, and good, great bunch of owners in it. Colin McKenna's colours, and I'd just like to thank the team, you know, and the whole team.
Yeah, well, we know how good you are at producing stayers, so if you can start adding 2-year-olds, boy, gee, look out.
Yeah, no, we sort of really sort of opened expanded the account and the budget, and really went after some more 2-year-olds this year. So to hit the race here and hit the board, it's great.
Beautifully done. Well done.
Cheers.
I might just quickly get a word from Tony McAvoy. Tony, your thoughts there on the performance of Sister?
Yeah, look, I thought she raced very well, Shane. She just didn't quite have the strength in the finish, and she'll grow up and strengthen up, but I was very pleased with the way she raced.
Thanks for your insight, Tony.
Thank you.
Look, it was a sound debut, wasn't it, from Sister? I thought she travelled well deep into the race, Pete, but I think Tony's comments are valid, that just the late strength wasn't there yet.
They're somewhat interesting to note. Mark Zara saying Vision, a little bit of a concern there already. The Nakoni filly of Hayes' Lankan Star down on the inside. We've consistently seen the stock of Nakoni out of the Hayes stable run very well in these 2-year-old races, and she was brave. Champlain Boom, take nothing away from her. She closed from just in behind them and probably ran up to that good Caulfield win as well. But you know, all honours the winner. Ma Eustace. They've done a good job. They won the Breeders' Plate in Sydney and backed it up with the Bumble Stakes here this afternoon.
That's right, and she showed a great will to win. I thought she was under pressure, sort of 100, 150 out, but sort of refused to give it up, didn't she?
She did. She really knuckled down when Mark Zara asked her for an effort, and you know, showed good courage there. So you would think this type of filly, she'll go and grow and strengthen a bit with a little bit of spring weather on her back, although we're not seeing that this afternoon. But you know, she might be a filly going forward. They've spent good money for a good pedigree. The McKenna family.
She's the best closer the last 100. She probably only need another 50. She collars them, so she's got a nice future too.
Yeah, for sure. You know, she was visually stunning at Caulfield, and still closed the race out nicely. In behind them, probably saw a bit of that kick back, and she ran through that well and got off the back of Sister and closed nicely. Didn't probably need much more than another 50 or 100 yards, and she probably reels them in again.
It might turn out a handy race. Race 1, run and 1 here on Cup Day. The second event coming up in about half an hour's time. We'll take a break here on racing.com. Back soon.